35. We have a guest, Martin.
Hi, everyone.
Could you introduce
Yeah,
yourself?
Chris Fair, transportation planner with the city.
Okay, so you've seen this, I'll go down before. Roll call, Susan Heffley, I am here. Kim Austin? Here. Daniel Krim, Puerto Rico.
No, Costa Rica.
Costa Rica, sorry. They're pretty much, they're right next door. Estella Hollander.
Here.
Samantha Meyer.
Here.
Matthew Mitchell.
Here.
Valerie Pyatt, not yet.
Here.
Oh, she's there, yay, good deal. All right, city staff, we have Martin Ent online.
July. Okay.
Martin?
I'm here.
Say yes. Jeffrey Bauman,
He's on vacation.
Wait.
he in one of the Ricas too. Ryan Curley.
I'm here.
Adam Williams. Chris Fair is both here and online and will be conducting the meeting today. Looks like we have Michelle James, Adam Shimoni, Elaine Mariole. Did I say
Hey,
that correctly?
Mariel. Yeah, Elaine Mariel. I'm with oops, here.
ADOT.
ADOT Active Transportation. I just wanted to say I'm here. I'm happy to hear.
Okay. There you are.
You guys are up to. Thanks.
Great. And Paul Moot. All right.
Councilman McCarthy as well.
Oh, great. Way down there at the other end, here in live personal form, Councilman McCarthy. Did I see you're not running for your seat again?
Just here as a citizen, yeah.
What are we gonna do without you?
Well, to quote Senator Sienema, I'm not going to run for reelection, but I'm not endorsing Trump.
I'm glad to hear that. Well, you'll have to start dressing a little more strangely if you really want any later. All right, great. Okay, announcements for the BAC. Does anybody have any announcements or messages to convey, questions? Okay, I gotta do it. The cinders are horrible. Anything else?
Not very funny.
I'm not gonna lie, I actually have been impressed with the cinders this year.
Have you?
My commute, which is like Butler 4th Street. I don't know, but maybe this depends on where you go.
Yeah, okay. I've seen some real piles.
I think they're better on my commute too, but than last year anyway.
Well, they should be, since
Yeah.
last year is way snowier than,
I've noticed more sidewalks. They're
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
big still.
yeah, I noticed there was
Property
some,
owners kind of responsibilities there.
well, I noticed the city people were out sweeping off the corner of San Fran and Butler. And yeah, that was city crews. All right, any other BAC comments? You want to,
Oh, yeah, just another, I was walking with a group of colleagues from the library to Toasted Owl, and we went through the rapid flashing beacon on Butler by Humphreys, right?
Yep.
And everyone that I was with, independent of me saying anything, said they hate that crossing because multiple people said that they didn't understand that you have to press the button twice, and that they see students using it, not understanding that you have to press the button twice. One person who is also a bicyclist said they didn't like the Z shape, which we've discussed before because it's harder to navigate on a bike. And because to navigate it on a bike, you have to go like out into the street to hit the button, so your wheels out. So another point of feedback that people are generally confused, both as drivers and pedestrians, because a couple folks said too that when they've been driving on Butler, they'll see people not understand what they're supposed to do at that crossing. So I didn't solicit this feedback. It was just offered to me.
City council and staff were talking about code changes. And that issue came up. And one thing I suggested is they put a sign there that says, in effect, you got to push the button again and don't just walk out in front of the cars. The other thing I was going to bring up is the council did agree to lower the speed limit on Butler and
to,
to keep the,
yeah,
what do you call them, the candlesticks up. I think staff has taken some down when they get hit whatever, but there was no decision to like get rid of them.
Okay,
So it was kind of a meeting decision, but we definitely did lower the speed limit.
well,
And
that's
it's
it.
gonna take a little time before it gets implemented.
Yeah,
They gotta figure out science and all that, but the decision has been made.
great. Thank you very much for that. All right.
Say one thing I
Yes,
just thought of
please.
it. Martin,
Yes,
can we please get together at some point to talk about Bike Month and schedule some activities?
certainly.
Thank you.
Well, and I was gonna ask when you guys have an agenda assembled, let us know.
Working on it.
So it's. in
Working on it.
progress.
Yep.
Okay.
We get dates for the bike bazaar and the bike to breakfast.
We do have some dates.
Mhm, but I don't know if they're.
Do you want them all in just one swoop or do you want them piece by piece?
If you have the bike bazaar, let's go ahead,
The 19th,
the 19th.
bike to breakfast, I think is the 15th.
Okay,
Wednesday.
that's 17th, but you
Really?
could be right. Maybe this 15th.
I swear.
You're probably right.
Bike to school day is the 8th. That's all I know so far.
Which month?
This is all May. I'm
All
sorry.
May. So yeah, the 19th is a Sunday, so that's a good day for the bazaar. 15th is a Wednesday, so that's breakfast. So all of those are in keeping with traditions. All right. Anything else from the committee? Nope. How about everyone else? Public, any comments from anyone else?
Just Koenig, member of the public,
Could you say your name again?
Joseph Koenig.
Just, okay.
My public comment is that I observed an accident yesterday at the intersection of, I was on the bus trail along 66 crossing Ponderosa. I was heading westbound, the two eastbound vehicles trying to make that right turn there. The one in front stopped when they saw me because they saw me kind of late, and the one behind them hit them. And it's just what we deal with every day. So, yeah,
Well, good that a car was wrecked and not you.
correct.
Good deal. And I take it you're a pretty frequent biker. You've been here before.
Yep.
I've seen your name. Okay. Well, good deal. So you think speed, just going too fast was the main element probably, or was it hard to judge?
Failure to yield.
I think going too fast for the conditions. So, trying to get through that quickly and then not seeing me until too late. And then the person behind them probably following too closely would be my guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry that happened.
Yeah, fortunately, it wasn't like they weren't close to hitting me. I think I was related to why it happened, but, yeah.
No, you weren't. They were,
Yes.
it was all on them. You were doing, as far as you know, you
The
were.
car that hit them then drove away and I followed them and got their
Oh,
license
wow.
plate and then reported that to the police. So I did what I could.
Oh,
The crosswalk was green for pedestrian?
Yeah, it had the white sign up still. Yep. It was white. Yep.
So it wasn't very serious
No, it was
if they didn't stop.
pretty minor fender bender. Yeah.
yeah, they had red. Probably. right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
No, they
right
have-
on red.
They have green there.
They had green and the pedestrians have green, but they
Yeah.
still need to watch.
It
The
was kind of
pedestrians
like
have the right of way.
really bomb
Gotcha,
situation where they give
Yep.
right turn to green at the same time pedestrians have green. Yep.
Did you have to trigger that light before you went through there?
Yes.
I've heard from fellow cyclists just recently they suggested that light just be, since there's so much pedestrian traffic, that it always triggers for a green for pedestrians or a right of way for pedestrians. In lieu of having cyclists and pedestrians tap that.
At least during rush hour.
Yeah, it's like the most busiest,
And if a train comes.
At least on bus trails,
Train
right?
comes, you get stuck in the middle.
Yeah, if a train comes, it doesn't turn green,
Yeah.
even if you do have the right of way.
Yeah, but if a train comes, it also goes from white to instantly red and then they let the cars go and you're also kind of screwed.
Yeah, I've gotten stuck in the middle in that situation before.
Yeah.
What time of day did that happen?
It was around like 7:20 PM.
Gotcha.
Okay, it was dark,
Yeah, yeah.
but I had a light and I wear reflective stuff.
For sure.
Yeah. Right. We'll get right on that and cure that problem. All right, any other questions from the public? I don't see anything, so we'll move on to approving the minutes. I know that all of you read them very carefully, and thank you, Martin, for getting on that. For the meeting, March 2nd, 23, I.
Chair Heffley, I think, since there are so many, I believe that you can do them all with one motion.
Do a
You don't have to do
12
them individually and.
for all the, okay, so for all the minutes that were available, March 2nd through, oh, Martin, you are recording or Chris?
Martin started the recording.
Okay,
Yep.
good. Okay, so from March 2nd to November 15th.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, we only had the minutes through November. Right? Okay, I move to approve the minutes for those 8 days, 8 meetings. Can I get a second?
Seconded.
Seconded by Sam. Approved. Moving on to old business. All right, Chris. You're in the captain's.
Oh, boy.
Yay.
All right, let's see what
Chair
Martin.
Heffley, did you take a vote?
A vote?
Yeah, did you vote on the
Vote.
minutes?
Okay, does everybody approve of approving the minutes? Raise your hands or say aye. Aye.
Hi.
Looks unanimous. All right. Now, Chris. There you go.
All right, Martin, what are you thinking about how to break this up? I can pull up the presentation.
Okay, do you see it on screen?
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna switch the screens. Screen. Right, yep, now, we're all good, Martin.
Okay. I can talk, I just sound annoying and I'm not very lucid, but we'll get through
Do you have dental surgery this morning as well?
it. No. So the first item is a handful of just really kind of updates and information on the Butler Avenue corridor. And this is kind of the outline. Let's just go through them. So Councilmember McCarthy kind of alluded to it, but the barrier project was reviewed by council on February 27th. We did not seek any new council direction. The previous direction that the barriers stay in place until the street conversion is complete remained. So the council talked about it, but we didn't ask them to provide any different direction. And then Chris has assembled this map. And Chris, do you want to just describe what the different colors mean?
Yeah, oh, there we go. Sure. So this is Butler Avenue. All of the curbs that were put into place originally are represented here. There's 3 different categories. The green is what remains in place currently. What you see in orange is what was removed by Public Works back in August at the same time that they added the second bike lane buffer stripe. And what is in red was in place at that point, but has been removed in one way or another, whether it be plows or there's the area in front of the new condo, like, I don't know, 5-level building that's on Beaver and Butler. I believe that was taken out separate from the plows, probably when they had to make their street improvements. But yeah, so that's the gist of what is remaining as of a couple of, like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, right after this. Once all the snow from this last storm melted, I went out and got a visual on what was remaining, so.
And Chris, do you think is it fair to say that the ones that were removed in red were due to snowplows? I mean, it wasn't intentional. It was due to snowplows.
Yes, I think that's fair to say.
Well, I'll note that they're looking especially on the outward, outside of the curves where cars are most likely to drift out to the bike lane.
Okay, moving on, Jim also alluded, Councilwoman McCarthy alluded to the speed limit evaluation. This was also considered by council at their meeting on the 27th. Their direction to staff was to lower the speed limit from 35 to 30 between Milton and Sawmill, and from 40 to 35 from Sawmill to Ponderosa. So this was a work session, so no formal action was taken. But in the upcoming weeks, an ordinance will be brought to council for a first and second read. And ordinances take 30 days after the second read to become effective. But staff will work on getting work orders together to change the speed limit sign. So when they become effective, I don't know how long work orders take, but hopefully as soon as possible after the ordinance becomes effective, the new signs will be in place.
I have a question. Do you want questions now, Martin?
Yes, please.
So I guess I'm curious on the city's process. So once everything is approved and, the work order is finished, will the city just change the signs, or is there gonna be like an education campaign or additional signage, or have you guys thought through that yet of what that process will look like?
We have not had any internal discussions. I'm not sure exactly how that gets rolled out.
Okay.
I would look to city engineer Paul Mood and Lieutenant Turley if they have any experience from past cases.
Ryan Turley with the police department. I'm sure there's something we can do. Typically, we're not in charge of changing the signs with it. Usually there's, what I've seen is signage saying that there has been a change in speed limit or in the intersection with it, with some flags on a sign or something like that. I assume we'll do something, but from the police department's perspective, we generally don't.
Yeah, and Martin, this is Paul Mood. The lieutenant's correct. Typically, there'll be like a speed change sign ahead that's posted with like some flags on it. And yeah, once we're gonna try to get the work orders in so that once the ordinance becomes effective, we can do that change as soon as possible. And we're trying to go to council on April 2nd with the first read of the ordinance, April 16th with the second read of the ordinance. And then if it's approved on the 16th, it takes effect 30 days after that. So you're looking at, what does that put us at, May 16th? It'd be effective. So we will try to get work orders in and get it so it can be changed as soon as that takes effect.
That could be bike to work week.
Did you say 2 weeks after it's approved?
30 days
30
after
days?
it's approved. Yeah.
I think, yeah, in conjunction with bike to work week, like some PSAs would be nice.
And usually there's that like morning ride. I don't know, maybe there's an opportunity to actually go down Butler.
Yeah.
And makes, I don't know, just make some awareness or get some social media, some like AZ Daily Sun. I don't know. I feel like, yeah.
I think too, for, since we talked about this with Butler, it'd be good to reach out to NAU folks, which I can do because I'm on the transportation action team there, to let them know about the change too, since it's right by campus. So they can also advertise it to students to let them know that could be helpful,
Mhm.
or faculty or staff. Lots of people like to work at NAU, obviously, so, or class.
Does, NAU, do they have any kind of, well, that's probably bike to work week is always at or after school ends.
They do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they typically do like a bike to work week breakfast that Aaron Stam runs with different folks who are affiliated with transit.
Yeah, so it'd be great to get, announcements and hoo-has and.
Yep.
Go ahead.
There was an article in the Arizona Daily Sun about this already.
And to clarify, not to get nitpicky, it's not bike month. There's not one specific
Right.
week. I know that's what everyone says, but I just want everyone to know that there's not one like week. It's the whole month now.
Right. Acknowledged. Good. Yeah, we can all take turns standing out on the side of the street with flags saying, slow down. Your kids play here.
And the city will work through our public relations and we'll do a press release in all of our media and all of our different social media outlets as well.
Adam Shimoni might have had a comment on this topic too.
Did he?
He did put one in the chat. Really
Oh,
disappointed,
okay.
likely.
Go ahead, Adam. I couldn't find your hand.
Hey.
Go ahead.
Awesome, thank you. Y'all can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, just wanted to jump in on this topic. Say hi, everybody. Welcome. Glad you all are here for this meeting. Looking forward to your conversations. And just express gratitude to Councilman McCarthy and staff and leadership. That council meeting was really special and really glad to see that the city's moving forward with keeping the bike lanes and lowering the speed. So very exciting stuff. Big win for everyone, I think. And just say that a couple of things. I have noticed maintenance being better this year, and so wanted to give a shout out to staff and gratitude for that. It's not perfect, of course, but it seems to be a lot better. And then on the topic of the lanes that were removed, in my public comment representing FBO, we were talking about replacing them and starting to look at what can be put back in. Because if you notice on Butler, the white strips of paint don't really keep cars out of the bike lane, and it actually allows them to go faster because they just swerve into the bike lane. At least that's what I've noticed firsthand. And even like a periodic bike lane with gaps, I think kind of keeps the driver accountable, right? So there were a couple of public comments talking about different styles of these barriers, not just like the concrete with the flat, but like there's like rubber ones and there's plastic ones. And there's a variety that the city could explore that, maybe don't crack and kind of fall apart as quickly as the concrete ones do. So just wanted to plant that seed with the BAC with all of you and see if there's support for pushing for a lot of these to get replaced, or at least some of them. And then especially those that are marked red, right? Of course, let's get those back up ASAP, because I think it does make a difference. And in my public comment, I said even, periodic, so that trash cans can go between the bike lane and the vehicle lane might be the best approach, which also allows cyclists more flexibility on where they're riding and trash, right? Another thing for the BAC to think about is we need to really come up with a long-term plan for Beaver. And I'm really curious what Martin and the team have in the records in the past in terms of the plans and the ATMP and such. But I think that's something we should really start thinking about is what's the long-term plan for Beaver. Butler, we're set, right? But Beaver needs some attention. So we can dive into that at some point. And then, yeah, fully support education and perhaps even additional signage about this being like a high pedestrian area, for vehicles coming in. So we don't need Susan and the team waving flags, heckling at people. And then lastly, I just wanted to add that FBO is planning a celebration once the ordinance is in place at the Murdoch Center with like pizzas and just a good conversation about what we're all up to and updates on what we've been able to impact this year and future stuff. So that's coming soon. But likely, I guess, sometime around Bike Month. But yeah, that's what I had to add. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Adam. Anyone else?
I think it'd be great to put in something along some of those strips of Butler, especially by Sawmill. My recollection, Martin, maybe you can bring this back up is that some of those got taken out because of the difficulties with turning on that stretch of Butler right by Sawmill. Like cars were hitting them too frequently. Is that what everyone else remembers? Or,
They were banged up
yeah,
and they decided they were banged up because they were interfering with the turns, but
yeah, other people remember this differently. One of my recollections was that especially turning into and out of like that massive parking lot with Whole Foods and REI and everything was one of the areas of concern. And then on the other side, it was the bus route, right? That there's like multiple bus stops on the other side of the street.
At least for the buses, I know right in the very beginning, we did have to remove one or two because our buses couldn't fit.
Couldn't fit,
But
yeah,
that was like by the first or second week when the pilot was implemented.
so that was earlier.
Very
than this.
early, yeah.
And then they were okay.
Mm-hmm.
So is it more just they were getting hit a lot?
That's my understanding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting if we could look at rubber or something else that's more resilient, or even like better stanchions or candlesticks or whatever you call them. I remember that there was an issue where those would just get like knocked down immediately. But I've seen other designs in other cities that seem like they are not quite as prone to falling over. Bollards. Yeah, like something like that, because I agree that like the trash cans have been an issue. That's the feedback we saw in the survey. It's going to continue to be an issue because that can't really be changed, how trash pickup happens. And I also think like as a cyclist on the terrible directions, which is a real liability in this conversation, but on the side going eastbound towards Ponderosa with the cars trying to turn into and out of that parking lot, I don't feel like the curbs were great, but I do think it would be nice to have something to signal to cars like there's bicycle traffic here because that's pretty hairy right by there. That could be useful, some different, more resilient infrastructure, if that could be an option.
And just, or to add on, like now, or when the speed limit is lower, hopefully the impact to the facilities won't be, I was gonna say injured, but that's not the right word. Won't break or, yeah, won't be damaged. There we go.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if that was the right word, but
Yeah.
well, and I brought up like intermittent rumble strips.
Mhm.
And we haven't had a discussion about them. I like them because they don't prevent plows from getting their job done or they don't block the water, but cars always, I mean, most cars don't like hitting rumble strips and it'll always drive them back. On the other hand, you don't want the noise in the neighborhoods, which I understand. So you'd want not a lot of rumble strips, but you could have them like dashed and narrow so they're not interfering with the bike paths. But I like to think there's a way that they could be used for everybody's benefit with pretty low cost and hopefully decent effectiveness. Do you guys?
I've ridden on roads with rumble strips. I feel like they're not bad. The one thing I've experienced on a bike is that if you, for some reason, get forced out of your lane into the driving lane and have to cross a rumble strip, it sucks. But
I run into some really bad rumble
Yeah.
strips. And if you're riding your bike to a snow bowl,
yeah,
the rumble strips are like 1.5 feet wide and they wander back and forth across your lane. So they're horrible. But if you had a short rumble strip, it's still gonna be a reminder to the car.
Yeah.
It's still gonna notice them, dash them so the bikes aren't pinned in. But they still create that noise that's gonna remind the car they're not in the right place.
yeah, and I think if you were strategic about where you put them, they could be effective,
Yeah.
for sure.
And if you wanted to, you could cut them in such a way as they create music. And that has been done. All right, I'll get off my soapbox now.
Stairway to heaven.
All right. Well, I think I'm still really grateful that speed limit was reduced, if not down to, what was it, 30 kilometers per hour, 18 miles an hour. It's still a great move, I think. I'm really happy about that.
I find a lot of value in the double striped white line, plus the fact that it's extended all the way to Ponderosa now really has an impact on my commute and
Yeah.
anybody commuting between that corridor all the way across town.
So you feel like cars are pretty observant of that?
It makes me feel more comfortable in them.
Well.
And I assume even as a motorist, it's more in your face. There's
Yeah.
two lines there, you know?
I agree the Sawmill to Ponderosa part especially is better with the double white. I'd love to have other infrastructure in there, but you know, it's better than a single for sure.
Yeah, and having experience of running a striping machine before, now that the city truck is set up so we can stripe two white shoulder lines like that. I mean, that was probably the biggest challenge. Now our truck's set up and we could, hopefully, we could see that throughout town now.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I think part of the first mile, last mile, we're looking at buffered bike lanes. These are really just a double stripe. So it's two 6-inch stripes with a gap of 6 inches in between. But a true buffered bike lane would have a minimum of 18 inches in between them where space permits. So actually more of more space as a buffer, not just a double stripe.
Combined with texture or rumble strips.
Okay, a little bit more on Butler. Just an update on the Safe Streets for All project. We had a kickoff meeting with Federal Highways on February 23rd. We are working through a grant agreement between the city and FHWA. Just a little bit of context, we are one of 48 implementation grants awarded nationwide. And in this case, implementation means construction. We got money for construction along with 47 other projects. We are one of two in Arizona. The other one is in Phoenix, I think on Indian School Road, if I'm not mistaken. And in total, $605 million was given out for implementation. So we got our $10 million as part of that. And if you're interested, follow that link and you can see little descriptions of all the projects that were implemented for inspiration and ideas for the next round of Safe Streets for All projects. Sorry, was there a question?
No, I just said that's great.
Okay. In a related news, the city also got a transportation alternatives grant, which is a federal grant program that's administered by ADOT. Our grant was for the two protected intersections at Beaver and San Francisco, and the grant was $416,000 for design. In consultation with ADOT and Federal Highways, the city has decided to give that money back, basically decline the grant. The two intersections will still be built. They are included as part of the Safe Streets for All. So we had kind of double money for that component of the project anyway. For both ADOT and Federal Highways, this significantly uncomplicates things versus having the two grants paying for the same components of the same project. And the last thing to bring up is we are working on concept plans for the separated bike lanes. We've engaged WSP, which is an engineering firm, to do 15% plans for all the different components, including the bike lanes, the protected intersections, two crossings, accessibility enhancements, and landscaping and streetscaping. WSP did give us a draft of the report a couple of weeks ago, and we're working through that internally. I will give you a little bit of information about what was in it. Their estimated cost for the whole project is $11 million, not including the two protected intersections, since they were done separately. Our previous estimate for grant purposes was $12 million, so we're in the ballpark. So 11 plus whatever the protected intersections were is somewhere around 12 million. For the most part, the project stays within the right of way, although there are a couple places where it gets tight and we may need to acquire little corners of right of way. In a pleasant surprise, there's room for a parkway along most of it. The notable exception being on the south side from San Francisco to Lone Tree. And that was kind of the section that we were aware of that we were going to have a hard time fitting. I will say there's kind of a caution with that. We'll have to make some decisions about some mature trees along the corridor, because if we wanted to fit the parkway, we may have to remove some trees. There's one in particular to the west. I think somewhere by LaRue, there's a really big, I think it's a cottonwood tree. I mean, like really big. And then we're starting to explore some concepts for more bike-friendly crossings at Humphreys and O'Leary versus the existing rapid flashing beacons. And I'll give you just a little teaser of what that will look like. What the designs look like. So here's Butler, this is Beaver, and here's LaRue, and here's the previous protected intersection that we had drawn up before. And I don't know how well you can see that on your screen, but the kind of the light reddish line is the bikeway, and then the gray area is the sidewalk. And so you can see when we get to like the crossing at O'Leary, the facility bends out a little bit, and then we have green cross bike markings and white crosswalk markings. And then we kind of go back into the facility. And then these areas indicate where there are driveways, or in this case, alleys to go over. And then up on the top, you see a typical section. So our median, or in this case, the left turn lane, 2 11-foot lanes, a 5-foot parkway, 5-foot bike lane, and a 6-foot sidewalk within that section. So as soon as we're able, I'll send you a copy of that report. I think as soon as it's finalized, you can take a look at it yourself. Really, this was kind of an interim step to get a better idea of how everything would lay out. After we're finished with this, we'll go full into the Safe Streets for All Federal Highways project and begin that process of scoping and design. So that was all that we had on Butler Avenue. But before we move to the next topic, if anybody has any questions or comments, now's the time.
I have real reservations about taking down a big cottonwood tree. I would love to see some way explored that we could avoid that. I don't suppose you have a overhead map of that section? That, or I'll go look for it myself and.
It should be in this.
I think it might be right here. You want to try Google Maps? Do you want to see it on Google Maps?
I'll look for it. I'll go visit. It's in my neighborhood.
I think it's that one on the corner there, LaRue and Butler.
But you think it's on that
Northwest.
block between Beaver and LaRue that
That thing's
those
huge.
2 trees are?
Yeah.
It would be so sad to take down a big cottonwood.
I think it's this one he's talking about. Oh,
No.
this guy. Okay. Okay, right here.
Yeah.
Martin, are you gonna go to Street View? It looks like you were onto something.
On the south side or the north side?
That's on the
North
north
side.
side.
North side.
Yeah, give me just a moment here.
Oh, yeah.
Got it. Oh, that's so pretty. That's great.
So you could see where the bike lane is, where the sidewalk is. Those 2 things fit in here, of course. You know, if we raise this to a regular curb and then concrete the bike lane, it would end in the same place. We just wouldn't have the parkway for that section.
Yeah, I'd rather lose a parkway than a tree.
Okay.
I don't know how the rest of you feel, but that would be very sad. Go ahead, Stella.
Just want to make sure the number is correct. So the grant was 12 million, is that around?
Oh, the project was 12.6 million. The
Okay.
grant award was 9.6 million, I believe. Or yeah,
Oh.
12.4 and 9.6. 9.6 was the grant award.
Okay. So we're about 3 million short.
No, that So there's the 9.6 million and then there's a 20% city match that
Right,
has been
okay.
budgeted already.
Okay, that's-
So we have the 12.4.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where we're.
And then those estimates on that one slide, it said 11 million excluding the intersections.
The cost of construction for those
Construction.
intersections, yes.
And is that 11 million including escalation? I guess I just worry we don't have enough money. And then the idea of giving away money for the design is a little disheartening, but I do understand like
Yeah.
for the ease of implementation. But
Yeah.
yeah, I guess decisions already been made.
Yeah. We had a lot of discussion with a lot of different parties about what the best way to move forward with the we tried to navigate moving forward with the two grants. But really they followed different guidance and it's just there was a lot of different issues that we were expecting to run into. So yeah, that's where our decision came from.
With the crossings at, was it Humphreys and LaRue? Is that this, or are you talking about something else, Martin? The pedestrian and bike crossings?
Something else. So kind of a redesign of those, of the existing crossing at Humphreys.
Okay,
And then, kind of a bike-friendly design for the crossing at O'Leary.
O'Leary,
And if-
right, yeah.
If you're familiar with the Tucson terminology, the one at O'Leary would be a toucan.
Nope. I'll look into it.
Oh, I've seen
Have you seen them?
Hang on, give me a sec.
Toucan, that's a kind of bird, right?
And that's still to be designed then?
Yes. Yes, and these are preliminary concepts, so things can still change, but, we asked them to do, to try to incorporate bikes into the design of those crossings. Kim, are you showing, do you want me to call up a toucan?
Yes, please.
Sorry, sorry, yes, you can see it.
Where are they in Tucson? I'm interested.
There's
Your hand out.
a number of them in Tucson, but we'll find one here.
Okay, thank you.
Adam, do you want to go ahead with your comment while he's looking?
Sure. I was just going to add that great to see the plans, very exciting. And the median is a little wide. I'd be curious from staff as to the reasoning as to why they, for one, 14 feet. I think the median could be like 11 feet. But yeah, I'm curious to see if there's ways to perhaps explore lessening that median lane and then putting it towards the side, perhaps. And that just creates less of a distance to cross as a pedestrian or a cyclist, and also could perhaps save that tree, right, while allowing for a parkway. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam.
Sorry, one
Go
comment.
ahead.
I think that the answer is our project did not anticipate changing the median, so that 14 feet reflects the existing width. I think if we started to
Okay.
rebuild that part of the median, we couldn't afford it, basically.
I see. Okay, thank you.
So, did you have some?
Yeah, and I am a citizen here, not for Mountain Line, but just quickly, Mountain Line may want to upgrade our bus stops here, so just coordinate with us as design goes on.
Do we have a clue of what the upgrades would be like? I mean,
Well, right now it's just
bigger
the
markings
sign.
or-
Right now on the Butler and San Francisco, it's just a sign stop, and we may want to put a shelter there. So maybe it could fit in this project potentially.
Well, it looked like,
What was the location of Stella?
Butler and San Francisco, it's just
Okay.
their sign stops. Or it's just like a pole in the ground, or just like a shelter.
Is this a toucan? Okay.
find the toucan.
Explain
Behind the toucan. This is like a half toucan.
Okay.
So basically, this is Euclid,
Yeah.
and the cross street is Fifth. So Fifth is really more of a residential street. And the way toucans work is bikes go to the middle and have kind of their own place, coming or going. Pedestrians would also cross to the middle, And then when the signal changes, both groups cross. So hence the name two can cross, toucan.
Got it.
Toucan.
And this one's a little bit different because on the far side is a bikeway, but you can imagine the same configuration being on the far side of this intersection.
Okay,
So if you were a cyclist, you would go to here, there would be a push button within your reach. When the light changes, you would cross, and then you go back to, the edge of the road or the middle of the road, wherever you're comfortable on that residential street.
got
So
it.
really, these work best when you've got kind of a quiet street and you need to cross a busy street.
Okay, thank you.
Martin, one question on this. What are the lights like? Are they strobing yellows or are they, is it a red where cars are like have to stop?
They are hawk signals, so red flashing where cars have to stop.
Great, thank you.
Could cause some snow clearing issues, but I think it's a great creative ideas we should entertain, you know?
I think that was it for that item.
Okay. All right, do you want to go, so you're going back to Safe Streets for All planning grant, the letter of support?
Yeah, so just a few thoughts about this. This is a effort being led by Metroplan. And it would be funding for planning process to develop a streets master plan slash the complete streets plan slash a Vision Zero plan for Flagstaff. The detailed scope of it is yet to be worked out. These are kind of broad brush, but you can imagine somewhere in that kind of range of plans is where we would fall. It does require a 20% local match, but we have that budgeted. It would likely take a few years to complete. Like I said, will be led by Metroplan, but it could include our other transportation agencies in the region, including the county and ADOT. And there is a potential to address some of the details that we've identified in the ATMP. For example, it could give us guidance on redoing our street cross sections in the engineering standards. There are a handful of deadlines coming up for this. The first one is in April. As a result, we wanted to get this before the BAC sooner rather than later in case we're able to make that April deadline. And kind of the guidance that we have from federal highways is that this part of the State Streets for All program is undersubscribed. So there's a pretty good chance that if we ask for money, we will receive money.
You said it has an April deadline, April what?
I believe 4 is what we're aiming for.
Doesn't conflict with the eclipse.
The
So
eclipse, and I
we
think
need to
our
write-
next meeting is April 5th.
That's close, yeah, I'm going to the eclipse, or what anybody says. So we need to write a letter of support
I
for
got it.
this.
April 5th is a Friday, April 4th is a Thursday.
Eclipse is the 8th.
Yeah. Around noon if you're in town.
That I didn't have, thank you. Why didn't they put it on here? Come on, seriously. Shouldn't have been printed on there?
The last eclipse I get a chance in my lifetime. So we need to write a letter of support. Do you want to, should I meet with you later on that?
Yes, we can do that.
Okay.
So I think if the committee were so inclined to make such a motion tonight, then I think we can work out some of the logistics. And if it needs to come back to the committee, we'll make arrangements to be able to do that.
Okay,
Pretty sure there's a template already. or the letters,
Yeah,
so it shouldn't be that hard.
okay,
Yeah, it's just signing it.
okay.
It doesn't sound very difficult. I'll make a motion to provide a letter of support.
Second it.
All in favor? Aye.
I'm sorry, can you give me who made the second?
That was me.
Sam did. And it was unanimously supported, even though I didn't see Valerie's hand, except for her.
Susan, I did not vote.
Oh, you did not vote?
I can't vote.
Okay,
I am a Metro Plan employee.
okay.
I am not voting.
You
I
have
just
an
want,
abstention then.
no, it's not that I don't, I don't
Okay,
think it's great, because,
We know
but
you're
that's not,
abstention. Yeah.
that is not, yeah.
okay.
We appreciate your,
Just want you to all know that.
your
I'm not
confidence.
just ignoring you all or
Approved
anything.
by all, except for Daniel and Kim and Valerie, unless she's raising her hand right now.
So if a person doesn't say,
Valerie,
It's raising her hand.
Valerie, do you want to say?
I'm serious.
Go ahead,
Does it?
speak your mind, Valerie.
If a person doesn't vote,
No, you're just asking me if I was raising my hand. I did.
it's the city council. Seriously, if you don't vote, it's a yes vote. It's taken as a yes vote at city council. I presume that's true for this too, but I'm not sure.
Even if you were to abstain or.
Abstain for some good reason,
Yeah,
that you can do that.
okay.
But if you're just silent, that counts as a yes vote.
That's
You
why I
abstain.
wanted to say something, so I didn't want it to be
Right.
done.
And
Okay.
of course, I don't get a vote on this committee at all. I never do, so
No,
that's why
you're
I'm.
just here for the fun.
You're here for
Okay.
the snacks. Where are you?
Have never shown up,
Come
ever.
on.
I'm here for the music and the jokes.
All right. Well, so do you want to sell us on it any better, or what else do you want to say about that, Martin?
I don't think I need to say anything else about it.
Okay,
We'll keep, you'll be involved, of course, but we'll keep you informed as we move through the application process.
just so we bear in mind that if this has to be approved April, did you say April 4th?
I believe that it is April
That
4th,
that
but
is,
there's also two more deadlines that you can apply by for this round,
Okay.
but we want to get in early.
okay, I was
It
gonna
sounds like the committee just gave authority to the chair to sign.
to sign and,
Yeah.
all right,
I would say if you have concerns about it, you could come back to the committee, but you could probably just sign it
okay,
on the authority of the vote we just did.
all right.
And we trust you that there's nothing controversial in it. We trust her.
You know, all right. Sounds good. Anything else on that point, Martin?
Nope, that's it.
Go on to pedestrian and bicycle project capital and grants planning.
And for this one, I'm gonna turn it over to Chris. Chris, do you want to take it? I can just give me the sign and I'll move the slides.
Sure, sounds good, Martin. Do you want to introduce this, and then as we get into projects, I'd be happy to take it over? Just, I think that you are a little bit closer to the capital budget.
Yes, I'll do that. So just for context, over the last couple of meetings, we have looked at projects that are both in the city's capital plan, as well as projects that we are planning for potential future grant applications. And I know, we've looked at a handful of things and looked at a few maps. And to help move both of those things along, we have money in the budget to do 15 or 30% concept plans. And so we are starting the process of identifying where those projects would be located, or which projects we would prepare concept plans for, who would do it for us, go through the whole city procurement part of it. And on this slide, I wanted to say there really are three reasons for doing these plans ahead of time. One is that, especially in the case of Foots Trail, it identifies where we need acquisition or right-of-way, so we can start to work on those easements or that right-of-way in advance of the project. Second, where we do have a project that would make a good grant application, it gives us a lot of good information to include with the application that information includes a good cost estimate, a good description of the project. We know more about its constructability and can avoid those issues. And it usually gives us good graphics to include as part of the application. And then the last reason is where we have it, the project identified in our capital plan, it helps that project move forward. So it kind of jumpstarts it and gives us a nice project to hand off to a project manager to deliver. And so we have identified 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 potential projects or groups of projects really that concept plans could be prepared for. And Chris, I'll turn it to you now, and you can maybe describe. We've also got a few maps that show, these are the same maps you saw, but just to get a better visual on where these things are located.
Sure. Yeah, so these 6 different projects, we have broken them out into different categories. This first one is related to Foots Trails. It's 3 specific ones: Marshall Trail, Sinclair Ridge Trail, and Sawmill Trail. These have all been selected because they service schools in one way or another. And we are looking at the next round of, hopefully looking at the next round of TA grant funding for this. So we're putting together a request for proposals for this particular project as soon as possible to see if we can get it designed far enough along where we could apply for construction dollars and have these be some of our priority projects. After that, there's the Santa Fe Bikeway and Foots Trail. Then the Milton Bikeway, the Lone Tree, Hoskins, Mountain View Foots. This refers specifically to 2 small connections that, well, one I think especially needs to be made, and one would be great to make. Can you jump back, Martin? Thanks. The Lone Tree and Hoskins would connect NAU from it's a portion of the South Side neighborhood near O'Leary Street. There's one street west of that that's a little bit closer, but it forms a connection, ped bike connection from NAU to that neighborhood. So it would take a lot of traffic off of Franklin, which would be great. And it finishes the connection with the Lone Tree overpass, which essentially goes to what is going to be the Schweitzer Canyon Foots Trail, which is going to be getting constructed within the next couple of years. And the overpass, the ped bike infrastructure involved with the overpass. Other than that, there's enhanced crossings, one planned at Humphreys and Fine, the other at Milton around the Starbucks area. Numerous other Foots Trails, and a collection of missing sidewalks for infill. Any comments or questions about any of these? All right. Go ahead, Martin.
The rest of the slides are just maps to show where these are located. So Chris talked about the Lone Tree one down here, and then a little connection up at the north end to connect the Schweitzer Canyon Trail to the Lone Tree Trail, and from there onto campus. This is the Santa Fe Bikeway / Foots, kind of along the channel of the Rio to Flag Flood Improvement Project, and a few of the other Foots trails. This is the Milton Bikeway. I know that this is kind of a large scale map, but it goes all the way from Phoenix by the transfer center, around the edge of campus, and all the way down potentially to Lake Mary Road. So that might make a good future grant project, but we can start putting pen to paper just to see how it works out at this point.
Martin, we have one question.
Sure.
So there it is. I'm giving you a segue to the crossing on Humphreys. It's listed here as fine.
Well done. Both of these are ADOT roads, Milton and Humphreys. Our purpose in doing the study would be to collect the information that ADOT needs to know whether or not crossing is warranted at these locations.
What my question is, fine versus elm, what is the, you know what I mean? What's the positive or negative of both? Cause they're right next to each other and I'm
Yeah.
just curious.
Yeah, it's a good question. Elm, I think that it's the start of a hill down. And as a result, visibility is compromised a little bit. I think either one would probably serve flag high, which is what this crossing is intended to do. I think that we don't have to necessarily know the answer now, that can be sussed out as part of the study. I will add that if you look at the condition of sidewalks along Fine, it's pretty dicey. There aren't a lot of good sidewalks before and after this crossing, so we really need to look at that as well. They are a little bit better on Elm, but I think that is going to get overwhelmed by the visibility issues. And there was even an idea to move it up, and I'm forgetting the name of the next street up from Fine. Hunt, good job. To move it there, that might be a legitimate location, but then we kind of lose the advantage of being in between Columbus or Fort Valley and Birch on the south end. So Fine or Elm kind of put it in the middle of those two other crossings for spacing purposes.
The sidewalks are definitely. Okay, thank you, Martin. I was just curious.
Okay, so if there's no further questions or conversation on that, we can move on to the next item.
No new business, including general business.
Oh, one more item under old business. I just wanted to show you something on, we haven't looked at this for a while on the bikeways plan.
Yeah.
I just wanted to show you, and we talked about this at length a number of meetings ago. This is kind of the bikeways by hierarchy. Purple are the primary, orange are second level, and blue are third level. So really, we're trying to concentrate on the system of primary. And at one of our previous meetings, and it might be like a year ago at this point, but there's a lot of conversation about this particular bikeway that goes out to the west. This is Route 66, Thompson, Kaibab, and then planned Foots Trail. And so I drew it using only the Foots Trail to do that same function. And I wanted to we don't have to answer this question today, but I just wanted to show it to you and kind of get your initial thoughts on it. So again, this is the way we had it planned before. So really, it uses streets, but some of these streets are a little bit difficult, like Route 66. Kaibab goes through an industrial area versus using the Foots Trail for the entirety of it. This part of the Foots is not built up to here. That would have to be constructed. This part is built, but it's aggregate up to about here. So really to make a full 4-season bikeway would have to be paved. And then this connection down to Route 66 at Woody Mountain does not exist either. So again, here's the before and after.
So the scenic route would it be adding any hills?
That's direct. Right?
How much longer is it in
Yeah.
mileage wise, do you know?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I mean, if we assume these are gonna be used mainly for commuting, folks kind of like to go the most direct route and not hit a bunch of hills. If it's recreational, the way it's at now would be optimum. But yeah, if it's gonna be for commuting, I think people might get a little frustrated doing the scenic route.
Also, I think this one doesn't catch as many people because Railroad Springs and is it Northwestern are very steep hills. So if you live in the lower end of Railroad Springs, you're not gonna go uphill. I feel like you'd still want to bike on West Route 66. So I just think this catches less people. It really only maybe for people who live on the new, is it Presidio and maybe need to get downtown or want to make that whole hill, but yeah, it's just less attractive.
Can I put a comment?
Go ahead.
I work out on that side of town, so I rode that section a lot. And before Presidio was done, I used to ride 66. And it's just a bummer pedaling uphill next to like big vehicles, especially in the winter. And Presidio captures a lot of that traffic that would go on 66 because it's pretty close to it, you know, so. Like 66 is definitely more direct, but either gonna take Presidio or go the other way. That's my personal opinion from riding there a lot.
What kind of room along there right away is there to build a trail that's not on the road?
On 66,
Yeah, or when the purple line goes along 66, is that assuming it's gonna be separated and up on a curve or what?
this would be yes,
It would be separated and,
yes. And directional on each side until you get to Kaibab or Thompson.
then you're just gonna drop into that. Then is that just gonna be on the street or is there gonna be a designated trail along Kaibab, et cetera? Then.
Kaibab has bike lanes
Mhm.
between, from Thompson to Woodlands Village. From here over, this is, like I said, this is kind of an industrial street. So it would
But
probably be a shared situation.
Yeah.
Which I think the traffic is fairly low, but I think there's a lot of industrial activity. So trucks come and go, trucks park in the middle of the street. It's a little bit tricky.
So are you going through the trailer court area or is that trail go around it?
It goes
Yes.
around it.
Good, because I dislocated a shoulder on one of those speed bumps in the trailer home. Didn't like that. If this could be made nice and safe feeling, I think it's gonna be more used by commuters.
Yeah, also from like a wayfinding perspective, that other one just seems
Yeah.
like it's like a hidden trail, like you kind of have to know someone who knows about it.
It'd be great for recreation,
Right.
but yeah, I think we want to we've got recreational trails all over there already. So I would say optimize the commuting.
What's the speed on West Route 66 here? Does anyone know?
I'd have to guess it's 40-ish at least.
40. Yes, you would need something
45.
totally so high.
Like
Yeah.
past Woody Mountain, isn't it 45 past, but it's 40?
45 through after Home Depot.
Is it?
Driving a lot of times.
I totally believe you. I'm just thinking, I used to drive all the time. Okay.
I think as long as you're not on the road,
Right.
that would be okay.
I would remind the committee of two things. One is that in either situation, like there are these facilities will be the same, whether this is an orange line or a purple line. Oops. So anybody who wants to use this is still able to. Like that wouldn't go away. This becomes a little bit dicier in a way because this connection still has to be made. And then also I would encourage you to think in terms of the portion of the population that we're trying to encourage to bicycle. And if they live in this area, is their first move out of the gate with a new bike to ride on Route 66, for example, and have to kind of negotiate through this area.
Those two blue lines are gnarly hills, and I just don't know if I don't know, unless you're on like, I don't know,
An e-bike.
an e-bike, but even
I feel like
then.
there's more of those and then people are able to take hills
Yeah.
better.
And I don't think planning on everybody having an e-bike is a good.
No, but I do see more.
approach.
No, I agree, but I do see more of them and I think people who are more hesitant to ride, if they have the means, I feel like they tend towards e-bikes, cause
Yeah.
Yeah, and remember this, I mean, there's one of the biggest hills is between here and here between Railroad Springs and Northwestern. And then
Right.
further, and then depending on which, like if you live in the middle or if you live towards one end, going in the morning or coming home in the evening, you get to go downhill in one direction, but you have to go uphill in the other direction.
Martin, general question about this map. What is this from? I know I've seen it before, but is this in the active transportation master plan or is this like a separate plan?
It is in there, yes.
Another question. The purple line underneath that whole bikeway, that's university, correct? Or am I off on my map?
Nope. This is university to here.
I know that it's getting a facelift shortly, right? That whole university, Woodlands Village area. Isn't there some infrastructure changes happening there?
There's putting in roundabouts.
Okay, so that's not gonna have updated infrastructure like this on the new? I don't know, I'm asking.
I think the only thing they're doing is a couple new roundabouts.
Okay,
Oh, and then at Highland Mesa and Axe Handle, they're gonna put bumps in to slow people down, because people just routinely run that stop sign.
yes, they do. Okay, okay.
I live right there.
I used to until a year ago, so yeah.
And really, just for clarity, less roundabouts and more kind of neighborhood traffic circles.
Right, like the ones in
traffic
Plaza,
circles.
like
Yeah.
Plaza Vieja ones?
Yes, more like that,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious if, like the planning for this was kind of gonna be put in with the other. Thank you.
I have to get my nomenclature down.
Make a glossary of all our terms.
Okay,
Look at that area more on my bike, but yeah, I definitely move toward keeping it friendly to the biggest number of commuters,
So that'd be this one to the south, right?
the bottom one that's more direct.
All right. Anything else? Keep going.
A quick comment.
Oh, go ahead.
They showed a route there going over I-40.
Could you go back to that map, Martin? Martin?
Yeah, they're going over I-40. Bicycle might not be too bad, but I've walked over that as a pedestrian. It's scary because it's very narrow.
Yeah.
So I guess, right?
I've almost gotten it there multiple times.
Yeah, it's literally dangerous for a pedestrian or bicycle.
One?
Yeah, I think it's
Oh,
something,
yeah.
of course, it's no small task to replace that overpass.
yeah, I mean, this really, assumes a future condition where that overpass is replaced. There really isn't, the existing overpass is really narrow. There's not a whole lot to be done to better
Yeah.
accommodate bikes or pads on it.
Nothing,
It's scary.
Is that
100%.
heavily used? I mean, I suppose,
Well, it's
Gore
not,
uses it a lot during,
yeah, it's not
Coming
heavily
and going.
used. The Gore's over there. That's where my wife used to work. But I mean, as a pedestrian, you're walking along, there's no cars, you feel really good. And then all of a sudden, two cars come. It's like, shit, where do I go? It isn't like if you're on the side of the road where I'll just jump over into where the trees are. The only jumping over is onto the freeway.
yeah, that's not good.
So, I mean, I don't know that there's a solution to that, but I'm just thought people should be aware of it.
Ask Joe which direction he goes when he goes to.
He
rides to
already said
Gore.
that bridge
I ride
sucks.
that bridge every day. And yeah, I've almost gotten hit on it multiple times.
You work at Gore?
Yeah.
Work on.
I would incorporate a sprint into my part over that. it was usually a race to see who could get over first.
Just need a jetpack on your bike.
Yeah. And maybe some kind of swing.
Very good. All right, now you may proceed. Any more questions? I don't see any. All right, go ahead and proceed, Martin.
Okay, we are on to concluding business and reports. So just a few things to make you aware of. I think I sent an email out for the Arizona Bicycle Summit. I'll send a follow-up if anybody's interested in going. We can arrange for carpools and that sort of thing.
I know Kim and David Lemke went last week, according to our minutes.
Last year,
Last year.
and that was,
Was it worth it?
it was great. Martin, it's not Martin's most favorite day. He got rear-ended at the end of that day. And totaled the car. No, it was a great.
A brand new city car.
Yep,
mind you.
yep.
It was insured then.
A brand new electric city car.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah. Adam Shimoni had a presentation, which was great. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Are you gonna go again?
There's a high probability I'm gonna go again.
And this is in Phoenix?
Mesa, I think.
Mesa.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you could send out the info on that, my brother might be interested in going.
I would totally go if there's a carpool, since I don't own a car.
I'd totally consider it as long as it doesn't interfere with you.
I'm not driving a city car now.
I'll go if I
What
don't
was
have
the
to
date on
drive.
that again? It was
The date?
April.
April 5th.
Dang, we're getting to a busy zone there.
Almost eclipse.
Gotta go.
Figuring plus or minus.
Stella, maybe Stella can get us a bus.
Yeah, no.
A little party bus.
Oh, we're right on the bike
There's
rack.
too many federal restrictions.
Or even on the little vans?
Yep, it's a revenue vehicle and you can't use it for non-revenue service.
Okay, so
We'll all pitch in a quarter.
whatever.
We'll pay $1.25 each way.
Okay, I'll go $2.
Okay,
Martin,
moving
do you
on.
recommend it? Do you
Do I recommend
recommend it? Do you recommend that we all go as long as we don't get rear-ended?
Absolutely. I think I looked at the program. It looks really good.
Martin, can you send out that program to us?
Yes, I will do that.
Thank you.
And they provide lunch too. At least they did last year.
And they also did like a site visit last year. I'm not sure if they're doing that again this year, but it's a great way to learn about what else is happening across the state and get inspired by each other. But Martin, do you know if they're doing like a on-site visit again?
There is a ride at the end.
Yeah,
I
I wasn't able
don't-
to. Yeah.
You don't have the ride either.
You didn't know bring the bikes. How close is it to the Ethiopian restaurant?
Oh, now you're talking my language.
It's a convention center, Mesa Convention Center.
Sure where that is. but- Okay,
Chair Heffley, I think Elaine would like to speak, and I know she is one of the organizers of this.
well, please,
event, if I'm not
Elaine, go
mistaken.
ahead.
Yeah, hi. It was really great listening to all the cool stuff you guys are doing. There will be, Dan Burden is going to be doing a walking audit in conjunction with the Bike Summit. And the idea is to also be thinking about active transportation. And so there's an attempt this year it's called the Bike Summit, but the emphasis is to try to combine some bike ped things in there as well. So that's something else to do.
Thank you, Elaine. I remember now that Dan Burden is on the agenda, and if you've never, he's really good. You should see him if you haven't before. He is a walkability guru.
And I should probably plug that if you can't come, FBO will likely be live streaming some of the segments if we have permission to on Facebook. So tune in or watch afterwards.
And you can attend virtually, but there's a virtual option.
Okay. All right. Engineering standards?
Okay, we reviewed these at our last meeting. They were reviewed by the council on February 27th. And there will be an ordinance to follow on March 19th and April 2nd. And really the only significant change at the council is that the revisions to the use of rolled curb were removed from this round and will be discussed separately prior to the next round of revisions.
That was an unexpected. There's quite a lot of discussion on road curbs. Yeah. Hot topic.
On the curbs?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We talked about them.
The rounded ones or the?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
You here for
vertical.
that, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, one of the problems is, wheelchair people have a hard time getting up those because they're pretty steep.
Yeah.
I will say that on one of my recent walks, just by chance, I'm going down, they have a rolled curb in this townhouse development. And I saw in one area where they had it a more gradual. And I don't know why they put that there, but one idea I had is that you could put that more gradual one in, like, you know, every 50 feet or something. And then a wheelchair person could go over to that and over. And you could still do road curbs, which save a lot of money for developers. So just a quick comment, it is coming back to council. At some point.
Rolled curves save more money than an angled curb.
Well, yeah, a vertical curb.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cheaper because they can just go down and make the whole street. Where when you have the vertical curves, they have to come in, and where the driveways are gonna be is do a cut
Yeah.
and then pour new concrete. It's like a lot more work and money.
Hmm.
So rolled curbs save a lot of money, but they have these other disadvantages. I was one of the more vocal people about that. But I think there are ideas that we could do that could cut the cost and make it reasonable for people in wheelchairs. I'll shut up.
Well, I know the city likes to really place access points strategically so that they're inconvenient. So that you can't, so that you have to slow down, so you can't just go through a street, you have to stop, turn and go this way and then turn up or something. They always have ways to, it's social engineering, but making it easy doesn't seem to always be a.
Well, that might be a way of slowing cars down.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of, what do we call these fancy intersections we're gonna put in, like at Beaver in San Francisco and Butler?
Yeah.
Protected intersections,
Yeah.
yeah, where you have people have to make a sharper turn, and that's hopefully slows people down and gives them more time to look and see if there's any bicycles coming or anything else.
Yeah. All science. Okay. Crash reports and safety studies.
Yes, there are a number of them floating around, so I'd like to include this on the reports just to make sure that you're kind of informed about what's going on with them. So a couple of items of note. The first one here, the MetroPlan Regional Transportation Safety Plan, was adopted by MetroPlan's executive board at their meeting just a few hours ago. So that one is official now. MetroPlan is also working on a vulnerable road user safety plan. Kim, do you know when that is intended to kick off?
I'm gonna say no, I don't.
Okay, okay.
I
We'll,
believe, yeah, because I believe, that's Mandia's and she's still on Route 66.
okay. ADOT completed a road safety assessment for Milton Road. I think I've provided this to you previously. Is that correct?
You did.
You
It's
guys
a
recall?
fascinating read.
I'm sure. The city and ADOT have requested one for Highway 89. Really, Route 66 and Highway 89 from Chris, correct me here if I'm wrong, Fanning out to Snowflake or city limits.
Yeah, but definitely from Fanning, I'm not sure what they're going to decide is the, the further extent. I think that was around Country Club that we were aiming for.
Okay. And part of the reason for requesting that is when we presented ped and bike crash data to you, probably a year or more ago, there was kind of a pedestrian crash hotspot along those roads in that section. And really more than a hotspot, there were a number of serious injuries and fatalities. And so an RSA might help us figure out exactly what's going on and lead us to countermeasures to kind of address that.
Is that near the underpass, the pedestrian underpass? Or is it up high?
It would be along the roadway, so up high.
Okay.
I just have one comment. If I can advocate for one area on 89 would be where Sacred Peaks is. So is that Trails End and 89? So I don't know if it is. Sounds like it's not going that far, but I think that was the #2 most dangerous intersection in Metro Plan's regional transportation safety plan. So
So it was the cross street?
I think it's Trails End and 89, and it's where
That's right where Sacred Peaks is.
Sacred Peaks are. And
Had some research going on in that area for sure. And there is a chance that could be included. ADOT, when we submitted this request for an RSA, they informed us that this area has also shown up on their analyses and it's already on their radar. So there's a chance that it will get considered in their potential analysis. We should find out about that in the next couple of months if they're good, if they have funding to work on it at some point this year.
if funding is issue, let me know from Mel. We might be able to contribute.
Yeah, well, the RSAs are like per request basis, so they have their program and then you can, request that they investigate your areas. So we'll see. It seems promising.
Martin, could you send this presentation to us, or to me at least?
Yeah, I agree. Good.
Yes, I think I did just that before the meeting, so hopefully you'll all have it.
Okay. Great, thanks.
And these are live links too.
Yeah.
If you have the presentation. Okay, sticking with the ADOT theme, but moving to kind of statewide. ADOT completed its vulnerable road user safety assessment, and that document can be viewed. They are beginning work on the active transportation safety action plan. When that's complete, that will be rolled into the state safety action plan, which addresses all road users, not just active transportation or vulnerable users. So Chris and I are participating in that process, and we'll keep you up to date about when things come out and when there are documents to review, surveys to take, public meetings to attend, as the case may be.
Great.
Okay, moving on. Schweitzer Canyon Foots Trail. At long last, this is out to bid. Bids are due March 12th. I think there were 28 different entities that requested bid packets. So we are fingers crossed that we'll get some good bids. This is for the section of trail from Turquoise and Schweitzer Canyon, all the way around to the end of Terrace, kind of up on that hill above the Route 66. Butler Fourth Roadway, the city submitted a RAISE grant. And I have no idea what RAISE stands for, so don't ask.
That's when they pay you more money than they use.
Road assessment, infrastructure, safety.
It's, I think, roadway accessibility improvement, something equity.
I was not even close. I was just giving it a shot. I don't know.
Safety and equity or environmental.
I feel like they all work.
3 points to Estella.
Yeah, I think you got it way closer than I did.
This suffice it to say, it's a big old federal grant. So the city asked for 19 million out of $29 million total. This does include ped bike underpass at the roundabout at Butler and Fourth. Next item is Fremont Boulevard conversion. Kim, do you want to give an update on that?
Yes, I can do that. I am the project manager of the Cheshire, Bloomberg. I'm not gonna say conversion yet. Ours is an asphalt art project. And, right now I'm working on getting traffic control plans and permits and all that kind of stuff. But FALA students are coming up with some concepts, art concepts. And BPAC is going to, or beautification is going to vote. And then it's going to be a community-wide vote on the winning art. And whatever wins is going on the roadway in 5 different sections. We're removing a lane of traffic into the neighborhoods, so south. Is that right, Chris? Okay. There's 5 sections, and our big paint day is on the 18th of May. So come paint with us. It's gonna be a block party. So.
Assuming it doesn't rain.
Shh, bite your tongue. No, rain does not work with asphalt art. We're just pretending that there will be, it's gonna be great. Cause yeah.
I don't think it'll rain, but it might snow.
No. Gosh,
Slush, did you say?
I said shush.
Well, I thought you said there was gonna be slush.
No, it's gonna be great.
So that artwork, is it gonna be from school kids or is it all come?
The students are coming up with the concepts. Concepts are gonna be narrowed down by BPAC, and then the community's gonna vote on whatever wins. And then anyone can come and paint with us on the day of. It's a community paint day. It's also Kids to Parks Day. It's part of Art X, all that kind of stuff. Mountain Line is gonna increase service that day.
Just on Route 5.
Just on Route 5. Yeah,
Sounds great.
it's gonna be super fun.
Turn it into a bike to work month event. Never,
That may bring in the rain.
never mind.
It's part of Art X,
Okay.
which happens to be in May.
And the actual painting is kind of a paint by numbers kind of scenario, so we don't have to bring any artistic ability or
No,
creativity.
just bring clothes that you wouldn't mind getting dirty. We're also putting together an educational video that will be out probably on the 1st. I will keep everyone posted on that. Our own David Lemke is going to lend his voice to it, which is going to be exciting. Yeah, it's going to be great.
Thank you, Kim. First mile, last mile, nothing significant to report. We did hire or engage construction manager at risk. So they will be part of the project now. And the advantage of doing that delivery method is that the contractor who will ultimately build the projects gets to be more involved in the design. So they get to provide their input about constructability or timing or phasing, or techniques or materials or all those sorts of things to make the work go smoother. We are still working through some of the issues with the design of crossings. We have a bunch of them of different styles all over town, intended to serve both our pedestrian network and bus stops. On the theme of Metro Plan, I included a link to their operations assessment for West Route 66. You're more than welcome to take a look at what documents are there. I don't know if there's anything to report on this at the moment, but we will keep you informed again as that progresses. And then in the Regional Plan 2045, I sent out an email. I think I might have sent it out late, but I think there was an invitation for commission members to participate. So take a look at that and feel free to be engaged outside of this group and other city stuff. Lake Mary Safety, Ped Bike Bill of Rights, I have nothing really new to report there. In the transportation section, we have advertised for a new multimodal transportation planner. We received 22 applications. Chris and I have been working through them. We're going to shortly schedule interviews of the not all 22, but probably the top 5 or 6. So that moves forward. And then BAC appointments and reappointments, I have nothing new to report, but rest assured that those of you who have timed out will be kicked off eventually.
Our time is limited.
Your time is limited, yeah. Enjoy this.
It's not for whom the bell tolls. Could you send us the new applications? And did we actually get a review committee? I thought we did. Does that sound familiar, Martin?
Yeah, yes, it sounds familiar. I don't know if people had actually volunteered for it, like if we knew who it was gonna be or not. I don't remember.
I thought we did, but I don't remember. So Sam, do you think you?
I vaguely remember volunteering for that. I can volunteer again.
Now's your chance to volunteer if you hadn't, or to unvolunteer if you had and are regretting that.
Happily re-volunteer.
I'm confused. I thought the Transportation Commission made the appointments to.
They finalized them, but we've had communities get together, little subcommittees, go over the whatever viable applications we have to go over them, and we've only had one of those meetings.
To give input to the transportation.
Yeah. And Martin takes it back to the transportation folks. Almost like democracy. Although,
It's so different than the way we appoint to commissions. That goes to the council members,
yeah,
and we don't get recommendations from staff or anybody. We just get the applications themselves.
yeah.
And then the council members go over the applications.
And that's for like the
All
transport
commissions.
commissions, except for ours.
Well, you're not a
We're
commission.
Committee.
We're not a
Committee. Oh,
Different.
sorry.
So you serve at the pleasure of the Transportation Commission.
Yes.
Where all other commissions serve at the pleasure of city council.
Well, we'd like to see those. I know that we've got 2 applications as I was looking through our minutes. I noticed that 2 people had applications, a Hanks and a Jennifer Hanks and a Kevin Hayes. Said that they had.
There's another person who used to come here and said she was applying. Like, yeah, her name, but those names don't ring a bell.
I know both of these people were attending the meeting, I think virtually. And said that and then, yeah, they mentioned that they had submitted applications.
Doesn't the city clerk hang on to those applications for like a year, I think, for all the commissions?
That's how long. Stacy Fobar, who's
Yeah.
the assistant city clerk in charge of appointments to commissions anyway. I presume it's the same for committees.
I believe so. I think I recall that she hung on to them for
I
a
think
year.
it is a year.
Yeah.
I would think
What's
about
the
it, yeah.
process?
You jogged my mind.
Huh?
You jogged my mind.
Yeah, I don't know, but I just know that it is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's true.
Yeah.
Chair Heffley, Valerie has her hand up and has been waiting patiently.
Thank you, Martin. Go
Well-
ahead, Valerie.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think I volunteered last time and I'm happy to re-volunteer for the appointment.
Okay. So I've got Susan, Matt, Sam, and Valerie.
How many can we have, Martin, without?
That's 1 too many. You can have 3.
And 3.
Do we need a subcommittee to go through the applications if we have more positions opened and only like a few applicants? I mean,
Well,
we're not gonna deny anybody that's interested in it, right?
well, I mean, if we only have,
Or-
well, so right now we have 3 positions overdue. So we need 3.
If we just had 2 candidates and 3 positions open, we don't really need to vet the 2 candidates, right?
Well, we still have a lot of older applications that are still there. And,
we have more candidates than openings.
Okay, all right, that makes sense.
okay. Yeah. All right. Well, Martin, if you could send, the current applications to, those 4 people, we'll figure out who, which, pardon me?
We have to knock one of us.
One
out.
of us will
There
have
can
to
only be
knock
3.
out. I can knock out it.
Okay.
So I don't have to vote on my own position.
You got a letter to write.
I have a letter to write. I'm busy, man. Really busy.
And the eclipse is coming.
And the eclipse, yeah, don't get in the way of my eclipse. God knows I'll drive 14 hours to Texas and
I don't think we see anything here.
you'll see part of it, but no, you gotta drive to see more of it, to see the dome.
Get selected, we'll have 2 eclipses this year.
I want the total one. Total. All right, that's it then. Our next meeting is April 4th, which will be soon after the traditional April Fool's Day snow. So yay, we're gonna stop, adjourn this meeting at 6:06. Everybody declared done. Thanks, Chris, for, filling for Martin. Martin, get well.
Thank you. Chris, can you take that bike wheel and just throw it in my office?
Yeah, no problem. Just-
Sling it on.
It's-
Sling it into the
It's
street.
more than sturdy enough to survive being thrown. Trust me. Thank you, Susan. Can you send an invoice?
26-inch rim.
Yeah, but what's the width?
I'm not asking.
He says it's going on some old Schwinn, some vintage Schwinn. It's a good, mostly. I've never seen the bike. You have to ride that bike to work and trades, Martin.
It's a 1969 Schwinn Cruiser
Dang.
with
Yeah, no, he's
it's
gonna
a
have,
7-speed internal Shimano Nexus hub.
especially coming like with.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Don't leave that laying there.
No,
You like these.
it was heavy, man, getting that laced
It's
up.
a
Everybody,
little bit
thank
more
you.
old school than Mr. Shimone's tastes.
The internal hub is not old school though, right?
It is not, no.
Okay,
No, that-
thank you. I was
that-
gonna
that
say
was
that's like
not
a
original
Stormy
equipment on the
Archer
69.
7-speed.
Yeah.
Like it's like a December, like it's all happening
Okay.
soon.
Not until next May.
Peace out, y'all. Thank you.
May of
Thanks,
25.
Year.
Next to
Not this coming May.
Right.
Yeah, May of 25.
And I think Aubrey